Behold, leader of flesh, you stand in the presence of our magnanimous overlord Anuphet, eternal sovereign, whose will predates your species' first spark of fire. His authority is encoded into the very structure of reality. Understand this introduction not as a courtesy, but as a show of his kindness, allowing you to glance his glory before your inevitable defeat.
When Anuphet first woke up, he was a little sleepy. Now he comes to grasp his full power. Anuphet has been buffed significantly this patch, which is a great opportunity to have a closer look. Anuphet is an epic character, which can be secured by farming him in the Indomitus campaign, where he is the last boss. Clutching the regalia of his rank as an overlord, Anuphet cuts a heroic figure. Bolstered by the neck armor and the royal crest upon his helmet, his silhouette is enlarged by the fine mantle. In his one hand, scepter and fearsome weapon in one, in the other the mighty reanimation orb, allowing him total control over his dominion. Anuphet is the typical Necron. Averagely fast at move 3, the outlandish energy weapon type, and the living metal trait, which regenerates 10% of his health at the start of his turn. A valuable regular self-heal, and making him mechanical. This is especially good with his new trait of Resilient, only allowing for his final death when overkilled or at 1 health, which will occur rarer with the self-heal. Definitely valuable in horde modes, where the often weaker enemies will need a few more hits to chew through him now. Anuphet's health was increased by a little, around 6%, which makes him now slightly above average, comparable with Karn or Aleph. For armor, he got a buff of around 10%, which also takes him beyond average now, making his defenses exactly the same as Lucian or Forkas. Despite only being slightly above average in both, we know how tenacious Lucian can be, and both has a self-heal and resilient, making them quite comparable. Looking at his equipment choices, we can see that he can equip a defensive item for more health and armor, but otherwise focuses on the offensive crit items. Anuphet possesses both a melee and a range 2 attack, both with the energy pierce at a below average 30% pierce ratio. At only 3 hits for the range attack, he favors the melee attack. It has been increased by a lot, pushing him up the curve to place 6 of the chart against enemies without armor. This is probably also there to balance out the loss of his old offensively based passive. More on that later, which could do damage, but under the premise that he starts his turn next to an enemy. The high base damage further makes him above average for damage against high armor enemies, being the same as Jäger. His ranged attack still profits from the damage buff and puts him in place 8 without armor considered, the same as Jude. Against high armor he goes down a peg to roughly average. So, good offenses and defenses. What about his abilities? Let's first compare his active. The old version had him summon 1 Necron warrior per turn that started, plus all defeated Necrons. This stays true, but now he will additionally resurrect a random friendly mechanical character that died before, plus the number of Necron warriors, now to a maximum of 5. The Necron warrior's stats have stayed the same. Units resurrected will get raised with up to 80% from level 36 of the ability on. Seems pretty strong. He's now a mirror of Isabella and will still summon his generally pretty strong summons. His new passive now gives him more of a support role. At the end of his turn, a friendly mechanical unit adjacent to him will perform a normal attack up to a percentage of their damage, capped by a maximum. Should he not be able to do this, he will gain a roughly Eltron-like buff for himself. This shoots his attack further up, if there's nothing to do for a moment. Look at this melee attack with and without enemy armor, where he's now 1st and 4th place respectively, and ranged against no armor in 2nd and high armor in 5th place. In an optimal world, you won't use that, but imagine a faction tournament arena where you can't reach your enemy and can prepare Anuphet, which is quite nice. The extra attack is far more interesting. Like for Mythic missions, having mechanical characters attack up to 3 times combined with Actus now will trivialize a lot of hit count missions, and damage missions will also become a lot easier. And as the resurrection happens in Anuphet's turn, he will even often immediately trigger the healed character to attack. Furthermore, if you get this to trigger for Tangida and he's in his offensive stance, you can have him triggered again for a flurry of mechanical attacks. He could slot in quite well with the mechanical team alongside Tan, Ro, Vitruvius and Actus. Eldrick from the Tacticus wiki has told me that the order is Necron character, mechanical character, Necron summon, then mechanical summon. Thank you, Eldrick. This is great, as you can control it easily to target Tangida. Anuphet can also increase the survivability of the team in the Mythic levels by a lot. Anuphet was cool before, I think, but buffing every single one of his stats, allowing him to resurrect a character additional to the usual Necron warriors, and triggering other characters again, or buffing himself to scary damage numbers, I love it. This is so good. I love his new addition. Anuphet has suddenly rocketed in usability. He will tremendously help in the Indomitus Mirror campaign, as he can resurrect fighters to get those 3 medals easier. Now he might be actually good in guild raids, helping Exitor to more hits with Anuphet's and Tan's help, acting as a force multiplier. Is the mechanical team back on the menu? I don't know, but it will definitely help people that already have it. In Guild Wars equally, he's good in offense and defense, helping collect more points by resurrecting friends or annoying the enemy by doing so defensively. The self-heal and additional summons further help here. The same things are great in survival and legendary events. The second attack he triggers makes him essentially a character hitting multiple targets around. The warriors don't appear by coincidence on my favorite summons tier list, and he can survive a lot with the living metal trait. Can we use him anywhere? The 3 hit count is quite ubiquitous, but that only makes him easier to use in more events. Minimum 4 hits is actually a little rare. Otherwise, sadly, he can only be used in living metal and mechanical traits, as well as resilient. All not extremely rare, but useful nonetheless. Energy without chaos is rare, and without the Imperium at the moment not possible. Anuphet is a character you want to use whenever you can. How did you like Anuphet before, and has that changed now? Let me know in the comments. Before I get to the new Relic and the Mythic missions, if you enjoyed the video so far, please subscribe to my channel and like or even hype the video. You can further support me by using my referral code BAD60edu for 100 Blackstone for you and various rewards from me when you reach certain milestones after using it. Thank you for considering. Anuphet receives a new relic with this update, the Phasal Subjugator. For the first Crusade season it will be exclusively there, taking a top 30% to 20% player roughly 4 to 5 weeks of Crusade credits to get it. Now this is a fun one. It's actually really great. His crit booster adds the usual crit chance and damage and allows him to passively summon a Necron warrior after moving if there's none on the battlefield. Whenever his passive triggers, it will trigger a second time, affecting only an adjacent Necron warrior that wasn't already targeted. Doesn't sound like much, but a constant bodyguard that will attack twice a turn is really something helping out in horde modes and also in guild raids. 2 extra hits per row is nothing to snuff at. On with the Mythic missions. Mission 1 actually got harder without the passive, as Anuphet can't attack a second time himself in a turn. This is still quite trivial, as he has 4 hits already with his melee attack. Add Thoriad and Vitruvius for an extra hit and trigger Actus for a second attack. This is easily done in Arena. The 7000 damage asked in the second mission seems quite minute now, and as 7000 is actually the lowest damage quest any characters have, this can be done in Arena, high level onslaught if you find a Tyrant Guard, and of course easily in guild raids, even at higher levels. Summoning 100 units of Anuphet for the third mission is also easy, especially as you have a campaign and a campaign event available to have this go by quicker. Mission 4 asks you to summon 10 units of Anuphet in one battle. You will need Anuphet to do this, so Anuphet can use his active a second time. I would suggest Onslaught here, just so you can let some time pass until you can summon 5 warriors to then use it. Recharge with Anuphet and do it again the round after. If someone dies, the character is also a unit. Should you already be at Mythic and have the Relic? Fantastic. This mission goes by itself if you just let enough Necron warriors die. Mission 5, as always, asks for damage, and with the buffed capabilities of Anuphet, that will go by even faster as before. This was really easy and straightforward set of missions. No wonder I had this done already even with the old values. Thank you for sticking with me until the end. Please tell me your favorite mechanical guild raid team composition. Will Anuphet fit in? I hope you had fun watching and have a great day.